Welcome to our channel, where we explore inspiring stories in simple English. Today, let's begin the amazing journey of Jeff Bezos, the man who started with a dream and changed the world. Chapter 1. A Curious Boy with Big Dreams. Jeff Bezos was not just any boy. From a very young age, he was full of curiosity and loved to understand how things worked around him. He was born in 1964 in a small town in New Mexico in the United States. And even as a baby, people said he was different because he was always looking, listening, and thinking. Jeff's mother, Jackie, had him when she was still a teenager, and she worked hard to take care of him while also going to school. When Jeff was still very young, his mother married a man named Mike Bezos, who later adopted Jeff and became the father he grew up with. Jeff loved visiting his grandfather, who worked on a large ranch where there were machines, animals, tools, and wide-open land. While other kids played video games or watched cartoons, Jeff spent hours helping his grandfather fix broken equipment, take apart engines, and build little projects with his hands. One day, when Jeff was only 3 years old, he tried to take apart his baby crib with a screwdriver because he wanted to sleep in a regular bed like a grown-up. A small act that already showed his curious and independent mind. Even before he could fully read, Jeff loved books, and once he learned to read, he would read anything he could find, especially books about science, space, and inventions. From the beginning, Jeff was not just dreaming, he was learning, building, and asking big questions about the world. Chapter 2. The Student Who Thought Big. As Jeff got older and started school, it quickly became clear that he was a very smart and focused student who loved math and science more than anything else. While many students were happy just to pass their classes, Jeff always wanted to understand the reason behind everything, and he often asked teachers so many questions that they had to ask him to slow down. During his teenage years, he spent most of his time reading books, building science experiments in his garage, and creating small electric gadgets from old radio parts and wires. One summer, Jeff worked at McDonald's flipping burgers and taking orders, and although it was a simple job, he later said that he learned a lot about hard work, time management, and dealing with people. When it was time for college, Jeff chose to study at Princeton University, one of the top schools in the world, where he majored in computer science and electrical engineering. At Princeton, Jeff didn't just study from books. He also started thinking about the future, asking questions like, how will technology change the world? And what can I build that doesn't exist yet? Although he had offers from many good companies after college, Jeff wanted to do more than just work a normal job. He wanted to create something new, something that could help millions of people. Chapter 3. The Big Idea That Changed Everything. After graduating from Princeton University, Jeff Bezos started working on Wall Street, where he had a very good job at a technology-focused investment company. He was doing well, earning a good salary, and many people thought he would continue working there for many years, maybe even for the rest of his life. But Jeff had a different dream. He had always been interested in technology and the future, and one day he read something that completely changed his thinking. He read a report that said the use of the internet was growing at more than 2,000% every year. That number was so big that it made him stop and think very seriously. He asked himself, if the internet is growing this fast, what kind of business could I build that uses the internet? He started to write down ideas. He thought about selling music, clothing, computer parts, and even groceries. But in the end, he decided that books were the best product to sell online. There were millions of different books in the world, and no bookstore could carry them all. But on the internet, there was no limit. He told his boss about his idea, but the boss said, "It sounds like a good idea, but it's also very risky. Maybe wait until you're older." But Jeff could not wait. He said, "When I'm 80 years old, I don't want to regret not trying." So he quit his job, packed his bags, and drove across the United States with his wife, Mackenzie. During the trip, Jeff wrote his first business plan, and when he reached Seattle, he decided to call his company Amazon, after the biggest river in the world. He wanted to build the biggest bookstore in the world, and one day, maybe the biggest store for everything. Chapter 4. The First Online Bookstore. At first, Amazon was just an idea, a computer, and a garage in Seattle. Jeff and Mackenzie worked long days and nights at home to build the first version of the Amazon website. They didn't have fancy offices or expensive desks. In fact, they used old wooden doors as tables to save money. Jeff typed code, answered emails, and worked on the website, while Mackenzie helped with packing and shipping the books they sold. When Amazon.com launched in July 1995, they didn't know if anyone would buy anything. But within the first month, they had customers in all 50 U.S. states and in 45 different countries. Orders kept coming, and Jeff ran to the post office every day with boxes full of books. He was excited, but he also knew this was just the beginning. He often said, "It's always day one." That meant every day was a new start, a day to build, improve, and dream big. Jeff cared deeply about customer service. He wanted every customer to be happy, and he worked hard to answer their questions, fix problems quickly, and make the website easy to use. Little by little, Amazon grew. Jeff hired more people. The garage became an office. The office became a company. And that small idea became a big business. Chapter 5. Growing Beyond Books. After a few successful years of selling books online, Jeff started asking a very important question. What else can we sell? He looked at the data, he listened to customers, and then he made a big decision. Amazon would grow beyond books. First, they added music and movies. Then electronics like phones and cameras. Later, they sold toys, kitchen tools, clothes, and even food. Some people laughed and said, "Nobody will buy clothes or groceries online." But Jeff believed they would, and he was right. To make shipping faster, Amazon built big buildings called fulfillment centers. These were giant warehouses full of shelves, robots, and workers who packed items every day. Jeff also introduced Amazon Prime, a membership that gave people free 2-day shipping. Many people joined, and Prime became a big part of Amazon's success. Soon, Amazon wasn't just a bookstore. It became the biggest online store in the world, a place where you could buy almost anything. But Jeff wasn't finished. He kept asking questions, testing ideas, and thinking about the future. Chapter 6. New Technology and Smart Ideas. Even though Amazon was already successful, Jeff always wanted to keep improving and inventing. In 2007, Amazon introduced the Kindle, an electronic reader that let people carry thousands of books in one small device. The Kindle changed the way people read, and it made books easier to buy and enjoy. Then Amazon created Alexa, a smart voice assistant that could play music, set alarms, give weather updates, and even order items, all by just listening to your voice. People could say, "Alexa, play jazz music," or "Alexa, order toothpaste," and it would work like magic. Jeff also built a new part of Amazon called AWS, Amazon Web Services. This service helped other companies run their websites, store data, and build apps. AWS became one of the most profitable parts of Amazon, and it helped make the company stronger than ever. Jeff always said, "We are not afraid to try new things. If we fail, we learn. If we succeed, we grow." He believed that every company should think like a startup, always curious, always building. Chapter 7. The Journey to Space. While running Amazon, Jeff never forgot his childhood dream, to go to space. He loved science fiction, and he wanted to make space travel real for everyone, not just astronauts. In 2000, he started a company called Blue Origin. Its goal was to build rockets, make them reusable, and send people to space safely and affordably. At first, people didn't pay much attention, but Jeff kept working quietly for years. In 2021, he flew into space on a rocket built by Blue Origin. The flight lasted just a few minutes, but for Jeff, it was a dream come true. After the flight, he said, "Earth looks so fragile from up there. We must protect it." Jeff hopes that one day, millions of people will live and work in space, and Earth can be a beautiful home for all life. Blue Origin's motto is Gradatim ferociter, which means step by step, ferociously. Chapter 8. Richest Man, Humble Thoughts. By the year 2018, Jeff Bezos became the richest man in the world, with a fortune worth over $100 billion. But even with so much money, Jeff continued to live simply and focus on his mission. He said, "I'm not driven by money. I'm driven by the idea of building something useful for people." In 2021, Jeff stepped down as Amazon CEO, but he stayed on as executive chairman to help with big ideas and the company's future. He also started giving away more of his wealth, donating to climate projects, education programs, and scientific research. He started the Bezos Earth Fund, which gives billions of dollars to fight climate change and protect nature. He believes that with great power comes great responsibility, and it is important to help others when you can. Chapter 9. Lessons from Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos' story teaches us many lessons. He was not born rich. He started with a small idea, a big dream, and a lot of hard work. He believed in thinking long-term, focusing on customers, and never being afraid to try something new. Jeff made mistakes, but he learned from them. He took risks, but he also planned carefully. He showed us that big companies can start in a garage, and smart ideas can come from anyone. He once said, "One day Amazon will fail, but our job is to delay that day as long as possible by focusing on what matters." He was humble, curious, and always looking forward. The most powerful idea he shared was simple, but strong. Every day is day one. That means every day is a chance to begin again, improve, and build something better. And maybe, just maybe, you have your own day one waiting to begin. Thanks for watching. Take action today, not tomorrow. Press subscribe and let's keep learning together. You're doing great. See you in the next one. Stay strong.